I believed, first of all, that this form of, I guess, camming was a way for young women to take an opportunity to give themselves a head start in life. I believed that they were there because they chose to do so willingly. I believed that they were having fun doing what they were doing. And then lastly, I believed that they could make lots of money doing what they were doing in a relatively safe and risk-free environment.
Was there a specific interaction or realization that caused you to see that reality differently?
I met a lady on this platform. She's from Colombia, and I started chatting freely with her, even though like I said, I wasn't paying. But she seemed willing to chat to me. And as we interacted and chatted over time, I started to notice a few things that shifted that reality of my beliefs. Right. The first was that I noticed she really wasn't making a lot of money in tips during her shifts. I also noticed that her room was usually quite quiet. There was only like maybe 3 or 4 people in there. And I noticed that she was actually working ridiculously long hours. I'm talking like 15-hour shifts regularly. And one shift that I can remember was actually a 30-hour shift, which is crazy, right? And so I just started to know like notice subtle changes in her demeanor. I even saw her crying at one point after spending time with a paying customer in like a private show, right? So those those realities started to come crashing down. And then as we interacted further and actually got to know each other a little bit better, I remember asking her about what her reality was. And she opened up in messages that she actually deleted very quickly. So obviously, there was someone watching, or she didn't want to get caught saying these things. That she was being asked to do things or coerced to do things that she wasn't really comfortable doing or didn't want to do behind the camera. And she also shared that her employers had made her sign a contract which involved her forfeiting all her identification documents to them. Right. So it's really now starting to feel like a trafficking situation. And she even mentioned that she was being forced to work such long hours because she wasn't making enough in tips to pay for her studio rental. And all of these things combined with the fact that it was around that same time I stumbled upon your guys' podcasts and saw that bit that you guys did about OnlyFans and the reality of what's happening there. It just meant that, yeah, I saw it completely differently. I saw what was actually happening on the other side of the screen.
And how did that affect you emotionally to learn that the women you'd been chatting with, maybe weren't participating freely, or consensually?
Yep. I guess I was broken for her in the situation that she found herself in. But then I think for the very first time, I felt completely disgusted at myself. I felt disgusted at the fact that my presence in her room was driving the demand for her to even be
Mm.
there. What you see on the screen is not always what is actually happening. Like there are some very terrible things happening out there in the reality of this porn industry. It's not what it seems. Like people are being really hurt and damaged, and yeah, it's a horrible, horrible industry to be in or to be involved in any way, I think.